So tell me about the Springfield Schools Foundation and what they've been able to accomplish.
Our foundation has done a wonderful job for us probably the past 20 years. And when you talk about COVID, unfortunately, they have really supplied the technology that is in all of our kids' hands. So they've done fundraisers and given grants to teachers to do some innovative, creative projects in the classroom. But then on top of that, they essentially provided every child in Holland here a Chromebook, which allowed us to go online instantly when the virus hit us last spring. So that's one of the main things that we can look back and see what the foundation has provided. But it's providing opportunities for teachers and children that aren't typically there. Springfield's funding from the state of Ohio is really at the floor, which a lot of people don't know. What we get historically was only $2,300 a kid from the state of Ohio. Almost every school system on the 475 got well over what Springfield got. And the foundation has really helped pick us back up to where we could be when it comes to technology, resources in the classroom, projects for clubs and teams. And the foundation really wants to grow that. Now that they've really taken care of all of the tech in the area, we'd love to look at facilities and performances for kids as we look at much broader projects. Our foundation is 18 people strong, and the current COVID crisis has really put a hindrance on fundraising, but we've had opportunities to reevaluate and to look at other ways to raise dollars for Springfield schools.
You know, to go backwards just a tad here, let's put into perspective for people what that $2,300 is. I know that there's a number that the state of Ohio says every child needs to have to be able to get a proper education. Am I correct to say that's like $6,000 per child?
I would say you are correct, Eddie. Yes.
And you guys get how much?
$2,300 per child.
So that's a critical thing for people to know, and not to turn this into a preaching session about tax levies. And I'm not saying that you guys are doing anything, but that's important for people to understand that there is a significant shortage that is not being accounted for to be able to help raise and educate our kids.
That is correct. There's what the state of Ohio says it costs to educate a kid, and then there's the reality for what happens in your area. So Springfield, Maumee, Rossford, those are all in the same state of Ohio, but each school system has unique challenges and unique desires that they want to offer children. To run 97.7 FM has a cost. A JROTC has a cost.
Right.
But now those are part of our identity.
Yeah.
And we want to keep providing those, so those have a cost beyond what the state of Ohio would give us. So we work to fund those. Levies are a part of that. We don't have one right now, but those are always coming around every 4 to 5 years, depending on what's happening in the greater economy. So we're always looking for help.
Well, and those tax levies are critical for our schools and educating our kids and turning out good community leaders. So I really applaud you for being able to find other ways to be able to make things happen to educate our children. That's phenomenal.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now, to switch gears just slightly, I know you love to talk about yourself. So let's try to keep this down to, 10, 15 minutes. But Matt, can you give me a little bit of history about yourself and how you got into education and became the superintendent?
Education is in my whole family, beginning with my father, who's been an educator and still is in the greater Toledo area, and my brother and my 2 sisters. But I went to Siena Heights up in Adrian, Michigan.
Sure.
Didn't go there to be an educator, but then somehow ended up that way. And I truly enjoyed it. And I was actually a teacher in Sylvania for 6 years, and I was a coach as well. And then I was hired in Springfield in the fall of 2004 to be the principal of what we call SMS, or our junior high. Did that for 8 years. And then came over to central office and did almost every job over here as I grew it, and I learned what really happens behind the scenes to bring in 4,000 kids to safely and effectively get educated every year. And I got to work under our superintendent, Dr. O'Shea. And I was his assistant superintendent, and I got to watch him, and I learned a lot. And unfortunately, he retired, which kind of surprised all of us, because I would have loved to work with him for 5-10 more years before he retired. But when he went, I had to make that decision. What do I do? Do I continue in a support role, or do I really try to jump into that head seat, which isn't easy to do? It's a very tough decision for anyone in any high position where there's everybody looking to you to really keep things going and improve, and sometimes even save the day. So I've been doing this for 4 years, and it's just been awesome. But the stress has been incredible. There's a group of superintendents in our area that are all incredible people. And we really look to each other for guidance sometimes, and sometimes just to talk. Like Todd Kramer is a good friend. We work together here, and he is a great superintendent and father. So we talk a lot. What Romulus Durant is doing in TPS is incredible. He's just a great person for TPS and for other superintendents to talk to learn from. So I think we all enjoy working together, solving problems in one of the craziest times in recent years for really any industry. But when we're talking about education, it's just nuts sometimes what's going on.
You mean in your administrative classes, there's never anything that discussed pandemics?
Not yet. I bet they're drawing that class right now, though. So,
well, I imagine it feels good to be able to have a good working relationship with other superintendents. It's a small club for you guys to be able to truly understand what that job is all about.
Yeah, and it's because we're all so different in what we do, and we all have our own bosses. We aren't the boss.
Right.
But when it comes to how we want to offer the same opportunities to any child in our county, it's a great group, because I don't feel we should profit and be successful off of a secret that we hold. If something's going to work here in Holland, I want to share it.
Right.
If something great is happening in Maumee, I want to hear about it too. Mm-hmm. So we can share those so every kid has that same opportunity.
Right. There's a saying that says when your neighbor's house is on fire, you don't haggle over the price of the hose. You guys are creating a great community, not just a Springfield community, not just a Toledo Public Schools community, but a great Northwest Ohio community. I sell homes everywhere in Northwest Ohio, and I'm proud to say that I know almost all the superintendents in Northwest Ohio, and I think you guys all do a phenomenal job. So thank you for your service to the community.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate your time. Everyone, this has been Coffee with Eddie. We will see you next month.